Hey yo YouTube, what's up? Back again, third day in a row, third video in a row. We're rolling hot and heavy, and today I'm gonna address the problem why your music sucks. I know it's harsh, but we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty. You know that feeling when you're working on an 8-bar loop before you even start arranging, mixing, or anything, and you're already in the 8-bar process and you're just like, this sucks. Yeah, I think we've all been there. So today we're going to mainly talk about starting that 8-bar loop, getting rolling with that 8-bar loop, and getting something that we're excited to work on, because once you get that 8-bar loop done and it sucks, then you just don't want to work on it anymore. We want to completely get rid of that. So we're excited to get down to work on our new track. We're excited to be able to arrange, excited to be able to mix and master. So yeah, let's get going with that. And mistake number one is going to actually be not using loops properly. It is a great thing to use loops, but we got to be creative with them, because a lot of loops are kind of boring, not exciting, so we kind of got to spruce them up a little bit, right? So we're actually using the knocking bass that we used in the last video to help us out here. So I'll play the raw version of this beat, and then we're going to work on maybe sprucing it up a little bit. See, 4 bars and I'm already bored. So we want to change that, right? So the first kind of technique that I want to introduce y'all to spruce your beats up a little bit, make them more interesting, more fun, more exciting for the listener's ear, is going to be to actually take a funk breakbeat type sound, right? And I'll show you what we're gonna do with this here, but I'll play it first. So find something like this. I got this off of Splice, so if you could find something like this, you could definitely do that. So the first thing we're gonna do to this is we're gonna grab an EQ, right? We're gonna cut the lows, just to get rid of that kick. Then from there, we're actually gonna grab some kind of transient shaper, to really get that short, snappy sound, right? Because you hear our main loop here, right? Very, very short and snappy, and you want to have an idea of what you're going for, and this is what I was going for, that short and snappy kind of groove. I actually have 2 on there, which is going to make it sound like... So as you can hear, it makes it very short, just to kind of match the groove of the drums there that we already had. So let's look here. This is the next element that we're going to add to this groove here, and this is going to be our... This is a very static rolling hi-hat, but that's not going to be super interesting, right? Because it's just hitting on the beat every time really fast. So I actually just used some sidechain. You can use velocity, anything, just to give it that movement, right? As well as, we're gonna actually bump this up. There's a stock plugin in Logic that's Delay Designer, right? What you can do is you can go down to this warp spot down here. There's all different kinds of delays on there that sound very trippy, and what you can do is it really adds kind of that, Wheats style sound to the track, those, the solid groove style sound with the kind of wispy, watery delays and things like that. So yeah, with what we have now, we'll take a listen to that. And it's very subtle in the back, right? But really good stuff. Here we just have a little perk layer, something that's going to add to the groove a little more. And now, this is a technique that I plan to make a video on soon. It's those glitchy sounds like that guys like Wheats, again, the solid grooves guys, they all use, right? So, and I'll let you hear these 3 glitchy sounds that I have here. So yeah, those really glitchy. We have that same delay that we had on the rolling hats. We have the exact same delay on most of these here. Basically, we're just pitching it up really high, 2 semitones, and then we're just picking parts of the loop that we want. This one right here is actually this perk loop just pitched up, right? And you can hear. So yeah, that's that. That's number one. All together now, we'll hear this. So yeah, a lot more groovy, a lot more interesting, and yeah, you can just take it farther and farther from there. All right, now mistake number 2, and this will cause you problems down the line in mixing, arrangement, all kinds of stuff, and that's poor sound selection. Poor sound selection is going to kill your mix. It's very, very important, right? Is to pick good sounds. So let's take a look here. I'm just going to give you an example as a kick. I think the kick is a lot of times the problem for people making that mistake of poor sound selection. So let's just take a look here. So this is our kick now with the bass. I think they sound really good together. The kick and the bass have 2 kicks layered here. But let's take a look if we had more of a boomy kind of kick here. Not a bad kick by any means, not a bad kick at all, but I don't think it's fitting for this track and this bass, right? So take a listen here. It doesn't sound the worst, but there's a lot of conflicting frequencies. There's a lot of, space being filled by the kick and the bass at the same time, right? Whereas with the kick that we have in here, it's a lot shorter of a kick, which is going to make a lot more room for the notes that we're playing with the bass. So, and I just think that sounds so much better. And there's a lot more examples. I can do a whole video on sound selection. If you guys want, just let me know. But yeah, that's it for sound selection.
Guess what? I finally got the Krabby Patty secret formula. How you like me now?
Mistake number 3, looking for a secret formula.
Secret formula?
There's really no secret formula. Yeah, there's tips. Yeah, there's tricks, to make your kick sound better or your drum processing or your vocal processing better. But at the same time, you will learn a lot just by making music, right? So don't search too much for that secret formula. All right, so on to mistake number 4, and that's going to be to make sure to always use a reference track. I know I was so bad about this for so long. Pull in a track that you think that is professional quality. Pull that track into your DAW, right? So it's there. And I say, don't limit yourself to one reference track even. You can have 2 reference tracks. I've had up to 3 or 4 reference tracks before, and use them in different ways. Like if I really like the drums to this one song by Night Funk, I'll pull that in, right? But if I like the low end and the way it's mixed from this Lee Foss song, then I'll bring that in, And if I like the way Michael Beebe arranges his tracks for a club mix or something, I might bring that in. And then next thing you know, I got 3 reference tracks, all 3 serving a different purpose, right? So make sure you're using reference tracks. They're a great tool, and that's really going to help you find, say, for the arrangement. It's going to help you find that arrangement that's interesting for the listener, right? And the sound selection, that's also going to really, really improve your sound selection just using that reference track. So make sure you got a reference track always. All right, y'all, last mistake is mistake number 5, and I think everybody is guilty of this. I know I, to this day, struggle with this, and that's going to be rushing through your 8-bar loop, right? I do this so often, especially when I have a really good 8-bar loop that I'm excited about. I'll rush through it straight into arrangement before I have everything I need, right? So like this one here, I'm planning on continuing to work on this that we've been working on today, and I already feel like I want to start arranging, right? But at the same time, I think it's super, super valuable to make sure that you have all the elements that you need. That way, once you start arranging, you're going to have to add some things here and there, but the goal would be to be where you start arranging and you don't have to add anything else. The creative process is over. But don't rush through it. Try to get all your creative ideas out while they're flowing, right? And then go into that arrangement. Make the different processes separate. You have your creative process, you have your arrangement process, mixing process, mastering process, and obviously there's more things in between. But otherwise, take your time on the 8-bar loop, 16-bar loop, whatever you're working with. Take your time, make sure everything's there, and then move on from there. It'll make your life a whole lot easier.
Woo!
Bonus tip, make sure you're subscribed to Ezra Blizzard so you can get all the knowledge that you need to make tech house bangers all day. Peace. Bonus tip, make sure you're